Firstly, I want to say that I am ashamed because I have yet to learn sign language, and that really makes me feel ashamed. And one of the things that I always say is that when we do not learn sign language, then we become the barriers. We become the gatekeepers by not learning the language. We need to be inclusive, not because it's a favor, but it's as it should be. And the thing is so befitting. No human rights without sign language rights. The room is filled with young people. And when we do not learn this language, we hold them back from attaining their destinies. I had a conversation with Mr. Makulu the other day and Dr. Muli, and it just weighs heavy on my mind. And when he said, where does the youth go? We see the learners in primary school, we see them in high school, and then university. It's a leaking pipe, but nobody has actually taken the time to study this and ensure that we cement inclusion. Whilst other countries are making sure that sign language becomes an official language, it's something we really need to work towards. And I'm happy my brother here, Dr. Muli, Mr. Makuwa are here to forge that way forward. It really, the play here just emphasized and cemented why it's necessary. And this is one of the scenarios. Can you imagine not being able to go to class and partake effectively the best you can because you are not understood, you are not heard? So we have a moral obligation and a responsibility to ensure that these young people in this room reach their full potential. So today is not just a day of awareness, it is a day of truth, a day to say openly what is often whispered and overlooked, that sign language is not a privilege, it is a right. There can be no real human without rights. Accessibility, we speak of accessibility. The SDGs speak of leaving no one behind. But what are we doing when we are not learning? And I hope we will be learning our sign language, Dr. Puli, and I'll be topping the class, because this awareness week has been an eye-opener for me, and I'm ready to be competitive. And yet too often, society treats the sign language as an afterthought. And let us be clear that without sign language, there is no access. And without access, there is no equality. Without equality, there are no rights. So the Sustainable Development Goals, all 17 of them, cannot be attained without the element of inclusion. And whenever we sit on these tables of decision making, we must often ask ourselves, are we all represented? Where are the persons with disabilities? Not as a favor, but as a right. So can you imagine, we talk of SDG 4 in the classroom, quality education, but how does a person in the classroom attain quality education if we don't learn the sign language? And a young person cannot access this at work. How many of us have people resign at our jobs? Is the question that needs to be. Thank you, Tudusi. Can we give him a round of applause? So there's SDG 10, which speaks to reduced inequalities. How are we reducing inequalities if we are not cementing the need for sign languages? So again, I reiterate, sign language rights are human rights. And we are letting the youth down. As the youth was staying here and the play here, and I thought to myself, what are we doing? Because we must ensure that we leave the places of work that we work in better than we found them. and importantly, the country better than we found it. We must ensure that the young people, I'm ashamed that I'm having learned the sign language, and I'm not proud of it. I have no excuse. And as we were having a conversation earlier, Dukuzo was talking about, he said something that really, I think it will stay on my mind for the rest of the year even, when he said, we can learn sign language, but we cannot teach the deaf how to hear. So that really stuck with me. And I want to tell the young people that your dreams are valid. You are not the barrier, you have the ability. And equally, you are capable, but we are the barrier when we do not learn the sign language. So this is a call to action to all of us in institutions, positions of influence. So let us stop treating sign language as an accommodation and start treating it as a foundation for accessibility, a foundation for growth, for the foundation for development. Let us ensure that schools embrace the deaf, the sign language. Let us ensure that our workplace values talk about inclusion, especially public service spaces. Let us build a nation where no one says, I was left out because my language was ignored. So, this teaches us, as I want to know, you must coexist in the society. No one must have more privilege than the other, not because of language as a barrier. So there's a quote by Helen Keller, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. And this is just a call for all of us to work together to really formulate. The development agenda requires us to be innovative, to be agile, and to open up our spaces and not be territorial when it comes to attaining development, and particularly when on issues of youth. Fanele sibambane, sifunze kusebenzisana, sifunze nje impela sitawukhona kuchubeka. Ekubebete losalele emuva ngoba khona lo evangathi agenda yakhe kuphela. And I just want to commend the educators, the parents. We are honestly, I don't even know where to begin when it comes to educators. They become the voice, they become the parent, they become the voice of the community, they become the voice of the child. So for that we commend you, and we don't take that for granted. We will not claim human rights while denying sign language, and we will not speak of inclusion while ignoring those who sign. Because when we honor sign language, we honor humanity, and when we uplift the deaf community, we uplift Eswatini. So I want to urge us all to advocate for the sign language in our workspaces, in our communities. And we must reach a point where the Kingdom of Eswatini has an official sign language as an official language. This is our place to advocate for it. Nasi sithi masiphuma sihamba sisho ukuthi this is what we left behind. We ensure that everyone was included. Because when we speak of development, everyone's voice must be captured. I feel it's really dehumanizing to actually have to call it in a third person to come in and interpret when we can really have a conversation. But because we are choosing not to learn, we deprive. And again, I will repeat, it's dehumanizing to have to call. You know, ukuhlazo nje. Ngoba asifunze ngani sign language maswati lamahle. So for me, this is a call to action. Let us work together to ensure that sign languages are included. Persons with disabilities are included in all that we do. We have that moral obligation and importantly, a responsibility. for representation and accessibility. Babonile, this is just one case. The learners were performing. I won't be long. I know Skat is but with that being said, you are the heroes, you are the future. There is no future without the youth. And I would want to commend Mr. Makubu for really having a room full of youth. That is very highly commendable, just to show them that we hear them, we see them, and we will work towards ensuring that